Well, hello my fellow car modelers, how are you doing today? Welcome to another episode of Luka's Kits. And today I am going to be reviewing the Rat Trap Vega, or really basically the AMT Modifieds from the 70s. This is a reissue that came out about 10 years ago or so that Model King put out. I used to have the original issue of this kit. It's pretty much the same thing, but when Model King reissued these kits, and there was quite a few of them, they were a hit, and these just build into really neat models. And what's cool about them is, again, they were models from the 70s technology, but wow, AMT really made quite the accurate modified of the day. So if you want to build a 70s style modified, these kits are awesome, and you still find them all over the place at the swap meets and stuff. We're taking a look at the Rat Trap Vega. I got a couple other ones. They made a few different variations. I'll show you on the box art here. But pretty much basically all the kits are the same with just a different body and different decals. This particular kit, everything was opened, and so I can show you everything really well. I'm missing the decals, but you can see on the box art here the decals were pretty basic. They were, you know, redone by Model King for these reissues, so the later issues, the decals are a lot better quality, but these were pretty basic, just the numbers and a couple of, you know, with the Chevy bow tie and a Goodyear here. But let's get into the box art and then on into the kit. So here we go. And on this side of the box art, you can see the other body styles and types that they came out with at the time, Model King, when they reissued. I think there are a few other body styles that AMT may have done in the 70s, but these were the ones that Model King reissued and probably are the most readily available ones for you to find. I also have this Pinto right here that I'm going to show you some of that kit too on this episode. And of course on the other side of the box art pretty much is what's on the top. Just a little bit of what the kit has and everything, but you know, basic box art, but pretty nice looking. Looks great on the shelf. And now on to the instructions. Basically these are a reprint of the original instructions from the 70s. Good illustrations. Pretty simple model, so there's not a lot of difficulty in the instructions or putting this together. But very well done illustration as usual from AMT. Even back in the 70s they did a great job with these, so found no need, I guess, since everything was done well enough in the 70s, they didn't need to redo new one. Everything's there. Pretty simple model. These probably are a very quick build. I built one quite a few years ago. They go together really well. And now on to the body. Basically a Vega body. AMT always did really good Vega bodies, their street cars and their pro stock that they did. So it wasn't too difficult to come up with partial body for a modified. And of course these were just outside skins that they just basically tack welded to the chassis, and not all of it was there. They never ran the front ends in modified, so that's all you needed is right there. Just this basic part of the body, simple. Boy, they look really cool, and you could tell back then, you know, it's a Vega. Here's a really neat part of the kit is the frame. The separate frame is really nice. It's basic. These, like, again, were basic race cars, and they took, usually back in those days, a real popular frame to use was the Tri-5 Chevys. They were readily available, and this looks a lot like, it probably was just a 57 Chevy frame. Very common to use in modified back in those days. They molded on the upper control arms, but they're done real well. Real nice tubular upper control arms. Got all the suspension. They ran leaf springs back in those days. Nice coil springs. Really pronounced, easy to detail with some paint. You got a pretty nice quick change rear end. You just put it together, get your seams gone, and you got a nice quick change. Other parts, battery box and chassis bars probably go into holding the suspension and all that together. And as we know with kits from the 70s, especially from AMT, engines were a little bit simplified and not 100% accurate, but you get a good read. If you want to have a really nice accurate engine, you can get one from the parts box and put it in this kit, and you'll have an excellent looking kit. Or just, you know, you can make this one look pretty good, but it seems to be kind of sized a little weird. It looks off to me. It's representing a big block Chevy, but it's pretty basic. Not a lot of detail in it. Kind of just block heads, you know. The intake manifold. It had, and one of them's missing. It's probably in the box, but it had these Wyand. It's always been, what? You guys tell me how you pronounce it. I always pronounce it wrong. I always forget what the pronunciation is, but Wyand, I believe it is. Brand valve covers. Pretty cool 70s looking valve covers right there. And a seat with all the seat belt already molded on. You could, with paint, do really good paint work. You can have this seat look excellent with painted seat belts and look just as good as if you were to put any photo etch in there. Well, almost just as good. Depends on how good you can paint them up, but I've seen these seats look really good and well done with the seat belts painted, and it just looks pretty nice. Especially if you're just doing this out of the box. I mean, it makes a great looking model right out of the box. So I've got a lot of loose pieces in this kit because obviously I was rifling through it. I might have even been planning on starting to build it. But we've got your rear firewall tubs, you know, the whole back area. It looks like it's supposed to be sheet metal and all riveted, so you have nice rivet detail. Probably just paint that whatever color you want, or silver or whatever, or some kind of metal, and it'll look like tin work inside that race car. And a basic firewall, same thing. It's got the riveted, look like the tin work. It's fabricated. Same with the floor, all riveted. And you got a couple of injection pin marks right there, right in the middle of it. It looks like they would have to be filled, and you got to be real careful and not kill some of your molded on detail. Same there. That's about the worst part of it, but all in all, you know, you can get around that. Tape those off and sand those off and make it look really good underneath. And then you're just a easy, simple sheet metal hood that went on these cars. You just pinned them up on the top, and that was the end of it, just to cover up the top of the engine. Everything else was open, as you can see in the picture there. Really nice looking racing wheels. Got some nice deep dish 5-hole racing wheels. They look great of the day. That was just a popular look back in those days. And it's a very good depiction of a 70s racing wheel. Kind of a simplified front end. You got your basic cross member there, and I guess would be the lower control arm representation, and your sway bar and steering linkage and all that. It's not the highest of detail or accuracy, but you can make this look pretty good all painted up right, and it fits right up into that chassis. And another part of the front suspension is we've got your coilovers here and your brackets holding all that together, and it's all integrated with the radiator, and I believe it probably goes that way. With some good painting, you can make these look like separate components and be just fine with it. And the rest of the kit is pretty much made up of different bars and stuff that are all a part of the chassis. I think this is like the rear bumper. More chassis and roll cage pieces and a fire bottle there. Your shifter, your clutch and brake. They put the steering wheel, which is a pretty nice steering wheel actually. It shows how they were kind of like wrapped with electrical tape back in those days. Kind of has that look, and for some reason it's in its own package. Pretty neat. An assortment of other pieces just fell in the box. You know, it's basically the roll cage. Simplified kind of square roll cage. Again, there wasn't a lot to these cars back in those days. That's pretty much the kit. Real basic. Again, I don't have the decals to this one, but just to show you, I took the decals out of the Pinto kit, and you can see they're pretty basic, but they're pretty decent quality. These were the later issues, issued in the 2000s, so the quality of the decals are a lot better than the ones that came out of the 70s, but they're an absolute copy, replica of the 70s decal sheets that came in these kits. And just to show you real quick, I got the Pinto here. Everything's in the box there, but that's what you basically get. And also the tires. I wanted to show you the tires. I didn't have them in the Vega kit, but it's just your typical dirt track tires that AMT had been putting in their race car kits, and some of the street cars to put on the rear to have just big fat tires. But they're basically dirt track tires, and they're pretty nice. I'm sure a lot of you have seen those tires. They've been around for a long time. But the kit basically is everything bagged up. That's what it would look like if you got it untouched. And there's a little shot of the Pinto, kind of just like the Vega. Nice Pinto body. So that's it for Luka's kits this week, and I hope you enjoyed it. If you want to do a nice 70s modified, hunt one of these down, or if you got them in your stash, bust it out and build it. It's a neat kit. I have built one way long in the past. I know this kit goes together really well. It's fun, it's simple, it's a fast build. It looks great when it's done. Hey, if any of you guys have built this kit, post it on Model Car Hobby Headquarters Facebook group, and I'll put it at the end of the next video. But for right now, I want to show you guys a few viewer models. Wow, those were some really cool looking models there, aren't they? You guys are building some neat stuff. Thanks for posting on the group. Keep on posting them up and we'll get them on the videos and show off your work. Remember, down in the description below, I've got my Teespring merch store. Got some great t-shirts. As you saw at the beginning of the video, I've got my I Hoard model kits shirt still for sale. We'll keep that thing going probably till the end of the year, seeing that it says 2018 on there. And then we'll see what we do at the beginning of the year after that. Thanks a lot for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't, and share and like and all that other stuff. And if you got any other suggestions, if you ever see any model kits in the background of my videos that you'd like to see me review, I'll be happy to pull it off the shelf and show it to you. So keep on gluing them fingers and keep on cutting that styrene, and we'll see you in the next video.